Hello, everyone. I'm Jen, and thank you for tuning in to Dear Future Grandkids. Now, this is the show that asks the question, what would you say to your future grandkids? What life lessons, legacy, stories, and memorabilia do you want to share with the next generation? Because, life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop to look around once in a while, you could miss it. So, how are you all doing today? Being good? I can tell you this much. You are going to love our guest today. She's absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot more to her than being a musician and a radio DJ. You might recognize her here in Singapore on the radio station Kiss 92 FM. And as an artist, she goes by the name Haneri. And she has 57,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. She's got more than 27 million streams. Yes, millions. She's worked with a slew of artists such as Charlie Puth and Paloma Faith, just to name a few. She's had the music featured on MTV's Catfish as well as Netflix's Queer Eye. And as a songwriter, she wrote the #1 K-pop song Wave, but there's a lot more to her. With an incredible story to tell, she has survived cancer. She feels that she maybe has missed the boat on having children of her own and is navigating her way through life with her lovely emotional support dog, Snowball. She's down to earth, she's warm and honest, and will sure you agree. Which is maybe why she's able to make music and sing from the perspective of wanting to make everyone feel like everything is going to be all right. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Daphne Khoo.
Hello.
Hi, Daphne, or better known as Haneri as well, her alter ego singer-songwriter. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am, slightly hungover. I had a party last night. It's my birthday. It's my birthday month. I like to celebrate the whole month because why not?
I know, and happy birthday in advance. And of course, enjoy life. You deserve it. That's
Thank
okay.
you.
Work hard, party hard, and now you've given us your wonderful time in the morning, and we're really excited. So thank you for that. So Daphne, like always, we're going to start the show with some quick fire questions for you. So these questions are going to come at you thick and fast. So without thinking too much, just answer them almost immediately if you can. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Maybe not the best when you're a bit hungover, but this should be fun.
Try me.
Okay, here we go. Now, Daphne, now what was the first, and I'm using this correctly in terms of terminology, which is the first CD you ever bought?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I can remember that I had a Shania Twain CD.
Okay,
Celine Dion, Shania Twain. They can fight it out. One of them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, because in line of your work as well, you've met a lot of celebrities in your time. Who was the first celebrity you ever met?
Whoa. Dick Lee, I guess.
Okay, so Dick Lee, for everyone else in the region, is a really famous singer-songwriter, composer, and is like the patron of the arts in Singapore, one of the legends. So
Yeah.
he was the first celebrity
Well,
you met.
he was one of the judges on Idol. So
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually Gurmit Singh, but then music-wise, like music celebrity, Dick Lee was the first.
Dick Lee, okay, big celebrity. Okay, do you? And I'm sure most performers usually have this. Do you have any superstitions?
I guess. I mean, not performance or just in life.
In life, in performance, just depends if you have any.
No. I just try to be kind. If there is a rule, that's the only rule.
Wow, amazing. Because some like sports personalities, it's really strange. They always put on the left sock and the left shoe first.
I'm left-handed, so I do that because I'm left-handed. And if I do it the other way, it definitely feels uncomfortable. But I don't think that the day is going to be bad if I do it the other way.
Fair enough. That's why you're always all right. Now, do you have, and I'm sure we all do you have a pet peeve?
Oh, so many. I have so many pet peeves.
Okay, go.
One of them is like people eating with their mouths open.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. Why?
Yeah, it's like, but I don't want to say anything, but I know that I'm like, yeah, tailgating's a pet peeve. I hate people tailgating.
Yeah.
And then when they take over and then someone tailgates them, I'm like, karma.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a huge pet peeve.
Completely agree with you. Now, next, in terms of the quick fire questions coming to you thick and fast, This might be tough, but what song do you listen to when you're down? I guess it's a tough question for a singer-songwriter because you write songs based on how you feel. So, but is there a go-to
Yeah.
song you listen to when you're down?
I think it's within seasons. So I can, if you play a song that was the song that would cheer me up, I would remember that season. Right
Mm.
now, there is this beautiful song um, by Gracie Abrams. There's actually two songs for me right now that are like my pick me up songs. Gracie Abrams, Packing It Up,
Yep.
and Jeremy Zucker. Actually, I don't even know if that's the right artist, but it's called A Frame. And these
A-frame.
two
Okay.
songs, yeah, are just like so inspiring, and they just like help me feel sad, but also make me feel better about
Better.
life. Yeah.
I like that the way you describe it because it's true. Because these are some of the songs that it's okay to feel a bit sad, but then it just makes you feel better, right?
Yeah, it's like you, yeah. Sorry, I'm not answering these questions fast, but
No, it's okay. It's okay. And final one for the quick fire questions. What's your
okay.
comfort meal?
My comfort meal,
Yeah, yeah, comfort meal.
fried chicken.
Like any fried chicken, like
Any fried chicken will make my day. No
fan-
preference, no nuts. I'm allergic to nuts, but any fried chicken is comfort food to me.
fantastic. And there you have it. That's our quick fire questions. I'm sure by now you got to know Daphne a little bit better. So watch out for the pet peeves as well. Don't chew with your mouth open. If you drive, don't tailgate. Just remember that. You
Don't
want to feel good.
tailgate.
Yeah, you want to feel good. Make sure you just bring some fried chicken and everything will be all right. I bet you want some fried chicken now after being a little bit
I always want fried chicken.
nice. Okay, so now Daphne, this is the part of the show where we want you to fetch two items or a couple of items from your travels or work that perhaps one day you'd like to show and share with your future grandkids. But for now, could you share with us?
Yeah, so actually this is so Chinese of me, I guess. But because
I'm interested
I
in that already.
so my studio is in my apartment, as you can see.
Yeah.
But my home is very lived in, I like having things out and stuff. And my mom was like, you have to have this out so that when your students come over, they like know you're like an accomplished whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is something that I think I take a lot of pride in. So it's a Compass Award for Young Songwriter of the Year, and I got it in 2017. And this is like a huge accomplishment for me because I got it from writing the 2015 Sea Games theme song.
Yeah.
And I remember very vividly that Gloria Estefan sang Reach, this song for the Olympics. And I was
Yes.
about 12. And I
Yeah.
remember watching that and going like, I want to do that someday. Like that is a goal of mine. And even just being a singer, like that wasn't enough of an impossible goal in Singapore. Like everyone was like, you shouldn't do that. That doesn't seem like a very valid career. I was like, no, not only do I want to be a singer, I want to sing for thousands of people in a stadium and sing a song that inspires them. So the song that I wrote for the Sea Games, I ended up singing for the opening ceremony at, the stadium in Singapore. And when I did that, I was like, I did it.
You
Like
did
that
it.
was, yeah. And then that song, because Singapore played it so much, I ended up
No, no,
so
no,
that
no,
was
no.
just like a huge,
You
like
you should
clean
be very
slate.
proud. Yeah, you should be very proud. Credit where credit's due is not because Singapore played so often. And to all our regional audience and worldwide audience listening to, what Daphne did in terms of that is Sea Games is the Southeast Asian Games within the Southeast Asian countries around this region. So basically, it's the Olympics for this region, and Daphne wrote, composed, performed the theme song for those games. So amazing. That is something you should definitely keep it as a mantelpiece of what your mom said when someone walks into your house, your students, and also for you to show your grandkids. It's amazing. Now,
Thank
do you have a second item or third
Yes,
item? Yeah, yeah.
it's right here. This
Oh,
one
oh,
I picked up off of the internet in America.
yeah.
My dog I brought back from my travels, from my,
Oh,
my
look at
most
that.
prized possession, fully
Oh.
all of my heart.
And we know that we've been promoting this about at that Snowball.
Yes, this is Snowball. She's an emotional support animal, an ESA. And yeah, she's just wonderful. Like when I am sad or when I cry or when she comes up to me and she just like hounds me and makes sure that I'm okay,
Mm.
you know, reminds me that I'm loved. And yeah, just the best, the best.
So
This
you
is
got you adopted Snowball back in the US and you brought her back to Singapore?
Yeah, I adopted her
Yeah.
off of this website called Craigslist.
Yeah, we know Craigslist is like it's like
Yeah,
shock
Craigslist
me in
can be
this
used
region.
for
Yeah.
a lot of strange things, but this was the best. This was the best thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at her. She's
yeah,
just.
my little baby.
Oh, look
So
at
calm,
her.
always so calm.
So is it difficult then in Singapore because there's so many restrictions to bringing dogs around, or can you bring her anywhere?
Yeah, ESAs are not recognized in
Nice, yeah.
Singapore, and so it does get a little bit hard because I'm not freelancing any as much anymore. So I have like
Yeah,
a job that I have to go to every day. So I do have
yeah,
to leave her at home, and I don't like it.
yeah.
But you know, she's taken the change pretty well, and you know, I always shower her with a lot of love, and you know, I drop her off at my mom's every now and then if I know I'm gonna have like a full day. And my mom loves her too, and my sister and her kids love her. My
Oh,
brother-in-law probably loves her the most.
I'm telling you, it's just if it's not on the podcast now, I just would like to describe this and those who are watching.
Yes.
Snowball is just looking at you lovingly, just the most adorable eyes, and just there's so much love there. Oh,
Oh, sweet child. Yeah. She makes
oh,
me feel needed too, you know, and I think
yeah,
that's in our lives we forget. It's so easy to forget that your care and your love goes such a long way, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Do you want to let that
it's a
down?
two-way thing, isn't it? I mean, I've always had
Yeah.
dogs. I love dogs, and that's how I learned how to be just kind to animals and people in general. How you treat your animals should be how you treat anyone else. Yeah,
That's so true. I mean, well, some people don't treat their animals very well,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. You are
Um,
right.
but you know, if you, I think also it comes with when you're so busy, you don't have the time to get to know how the nature of most animals is so loving,
Yeah,
and our nature is actually like we are, whether you like it or not, we're animals, we're
yeah,
mammals,
yeah,
and the nature of who we are, if we stop and pause and think, is that we want to be kind to each other. We love community, we love connection, and if we if we have time to stop and think about it, we would treat each other a little bit better, I think.
No, you're so right. You're so right. It's just that why can't people just be nicer and kinder to each other? That's all. I mean, I think
Because
it's
there's
just
so much to do these days. There's too
yeah.
much to do, and when you're busy, it's hard to pause and hear what's going on here and here, you know, in your heart and in your mind.
That's a really good lesson. And to just juxtapose all of that, we're still very busy in this show. And in fact, not only are we busy, we are nosy. So
More questions. Let's
yeah,
go.
so it's coming your way. So this is part of the show where we like to pry. That's why we do this on Zoom so we can look into your lives and how you live as well.
Oh
So
no, I
this
know what's
is
coming.
what's coming up, right? This is where we like to check if you have a corner of shame, somewhere where you just dump everything when before your guests arrive or your students arrive. You just pile into this corner or a messy place. We just love to pry. So Daphne, if you could please share with us.
Okay, so I most certainly have a few corners of shame because let's face it, Singapore apartments are really small, and I am blessed with a decent size apartment. But because I run around a lot, I passed the this dining room that I no longer use as a dining room, and this is very embarrassing. But I have just so much stuff on it. You know, I get all these media drops. I leave like boxes on the table. And like the small Christmas tree is still on the table there. All my vitamins and everything. So yeah, I can stop doing that now. There you
I
go.
mean,
It's like,
to be fair, I wouldn't consider that as being a corner of shame or messy. It just shows that you have a lived-in flat, you have a lived-in apartment.
Oh, the
And you're
whole
you're and
apartment looks like that, unfortunately.
you're a busy person. You got to pack up and go, and you're doing
I think
things,
that's the
moving.
problem. I'm not packing up. I'm just putting it on the table. That's why it's my corner of shame in the middle of the apartment.
Do you know what? I feel that you probably have more of a corner of shame, but I'm not going to pry. I'm not going to pry
Everyone
deeper.
has that one chair in their bedroom that all their clothes are on. That's the real corner of shame, I think, in my apartment, because it takes me weeks. I always put the mess. This is terrible. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I always put the mess where I can see it because I'm like, I will clean this up. But then
It
within
just
5 minutes,
piles
it's
on.
messy again. You know.
I know. I completely know that because I live with a person, my wife, who does that. So yeah, and yeah. So
High
we'll,
five,
we'll
wife.
yeah,
High five.
we'll leave that for now. We'll leave that for now. But thank you very much for sharing your corner of shame. We won't pry to the other one in your room. But for now, as we move on, we know that you're an accomplished singer, songwriter, radio DJ. There's not a lot of things that you can't do. But here, dear future grandkids, we just like to give a lot of credit to people who have a pointless skill.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I did not practice.
Yeah, a
But
pointless skill. Like, I know you have one. Can you share with us what it is?
so it might seem pointless to a lot of people, but it's a great party trick, one. And two, it's a stress reliever for me.
Okay, so
So
to everyone, if you're listening to the podcast, as she's holding a Rubik's cube. Okay, it's
yes,
all jumbled up. Are you trying to tell all of us that you can solve this right here, right now?
I can. It might take me a minute or two, but I can solve it.
A minute or
So,
two is fantastic. Okay,
are you
in
gonna
your
put me
own
on the
time.
clock?
We'll have a clock and we'll just
Okay.
go and keep talking through that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Daphne Khoo and her pointless skill solving a Rubik's Cube, and she's doing it right now live. And let's see how long she's going to take. She's doing it
No,
with a
no
smile.
stress, huh?
No stress at all. I mean, to be very fair to you, I don't think that's a pointless skill. It's definitely a party trick.
It's a
And
party trick, but that's kind of a pointless skill, no? Right?
when
Like in a way.
yeah, but everyone at some point has played for Rubik's Cube. Parents have bought it for them, and I can safely attest and to leave it out to everyone listening and watching now. I've never been able to solve one ever.
Well, I mean, it's just you follow the do you play video games?
Yeah, but yeah, kind
So
of.
you know how like back in the day there were no guidebooks and stuff, and now there's all this stuff on the internet that you can use to
All the
like
cheat codes and stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'll tell you very honestly, like for anyone that is even slightly impressed by this, I just memorized the algorithm. Like I memorized what goes where, and then I just do it when I'm stressed out. Because then I
Wait, wait,
just
wait, 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 wait. You do this when you're stressed out. So you do this to relieve stress.
yes.
I would think this is like the most stressful thing ever.
Well, because I already know it, so then as I'm doing it, I kind of just feel my like I'm focused on this. I'm not focused on my problem, you know?
Ah, there you go. I'm sorry. I know there's only me here. It needs a round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause, everybody. Right, everybody, wherever you
Thank
are
you.
watching or listening. Round of applause. That was like
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
under 2 minutes while talking to us live on the show. Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah,
amazing. Sorry, I
thank
am
you.
beyond impressed.
Eh.
I'm beyond impressed. I mean, you're invited to every single party in my house.
I just have to bring
You're
this.
a Rubik's Cube. I mean, your personality, just you, is more than enough. But hey, you with a Rubik's Cube, winning,
I'm
absolutely winning.
actually an introvert. So when I go to parties, if I see a Rubik's Cube, that's like my thing, you know?
I get it. That's a
Yeah.
conversation starter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you
And then all
go.
I have to do is teach people how to do it, and that's the whole night.
That's even better. That's even better. That's a double connection there. You got this. You got this down, Daphne. Thank you so much for sharing with your pointless skill. Even though I must say it's not pointless, I think it's pretty cool.
It
Right
doesn't
now,
really accomplish much, but thank you.
no, please give yourself more credit than that. That's really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
This is a more pointless skill. This the fidget spinner.
but wait. You got tricks with the fidget spinner? No,
No,
you
it's
just
just
yeah,
that
yeah,
you just spin it. That's even more
yeah.
pointless, but because you that's not really accomplishing anything at all.
That's true. So you have accomplished something for sure, and I'm sure that the Rubik's cube probably stemmed from a present from your parents from before, which is just perfect for us to now slow things down a little bit and talk about your childhood and what was it like because you were born in Perth, Australia, and then you moved to Singapore when you were 8. Talk us through that.
um, I mean, while we are using this platform, I think it is important to note that um, people of my generation, and I would assume, we're not too far apart. We had, I think, from what I've gathered from talking to a lot of people, um, I maybe I should speak for myself, but I
Yep.
had a very tumultuous childhood in that I was shown so much love. My parents are incredibly loving. This is just me
Oh,
in Perth. No,
yeah.
this is me in Singapore. I was visiting, but I'm wearing my Fremantle shirt, which
Yeah, I
is
know.
so Perth.
Got to represent Frio as you do.
Yeah, free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Um, yeah, so I think growing up, I had a lot of love, but there was a lot of challenges, a lot of expectations, a lot of comparison, a lot of performing, so to speak. I mean, for myself, like
Mm,
actually performing. I had two sisters. I'm in the middle there.
yeah.
I have a younger sister and a big sister, and there was a lot of healthy competition in terms of who did what, whether it was spoken or unspoken. And,
Yeah.
I think in that, whatever it is, whoever you are, and you're out there listening, and to you, Jan, as well, I think, we should feel that very accomplished for getting through our childhoods, because there was a lot of mixed signals, and I feel like there's a lot of work that needs to be done to heal that sense of competition, to feel like we are enough. I think that I have
Mm,
a thankfully wonderful relationship with my family, and so we talk through a lot of those things. But in case you are in a family that doesn't talk those things through, I hope that you can just like hug yourself and know that, you are enough, and stuff like that. But yes, I traveled a lot with my family. I'm very thankful for those moments, and that my parents were so, they made it a point, because my dad traveled a lot, but he made it a point that we would go away together. It slowed down as we got older, but we would go somewhere once a year. And I try to keep that tradition with my mom. With my
nice.
sisters, is a bit more challenging, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think something, yeah, I didn't mean to get too deep there, but I feel like
No, no.
something that I've learned growing up with, and coming back to Asia, is that a lot of us sweep that trauma under the rug, the competition. And I think it's deep rooted in us, and to feel all right, and to, know that you are enough, and everything you're going through, like, you've already accomplished so much. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, to just be where we are and be good with ourselves, like, that's such a huge accomplishment, to wake up every day and be like, we got this.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
So when you're talking about that trauma in terms of growing up as well with the competition, is it in relevance to, in your family where you grew up the middle child, three girls, was that competition within the three of you? Was that the case?
I think, in typical Perth fashion, like, there was, yes, I guess I had competition with my sister, but we're all so different. And my parents were pretty good about not comparing us, but it was maybe the extension of everyone around us, and I still remember that every other weekend, or maybe once a month, there would be a weekend where all of the parents would come together, and all the kids would perform whatever instrument they played. It was like we put on a mini concert, and to them, they probably thought like, oh, it's nice for the kids to, use their skills. But I think we're sitting in the kids' corner. We're going like, oh, so nervous. We got to perform for everyone, put on a show, make our parents proud. Like, kind of like performing monkeys,
That,
and
that is so interesting because you have just hit something. You hit a nerve with me as well because they think they're just, oh, it's something for fun. Let's get our kids to perform. It's nothing serious. But actually, it's actually putting a lot of pressure on you guys because you're thinking, oh no, I'm now performing in front of everyone. I want to make my parents proud. And then therefore the pressure is not really that fun, is it?
Yeah, but it's also just, I guess maybe it was gearing me up for all the competitions I would do in the future. But at the same time, it was like I don't want to compete with them. It's not a
Yeah.
competition, but it felt
You
like it.
you were put on the Idol franchise a lot younger when than you actually were already. You were
And
ready
they
for this. You
wonder
were
why
made
I
for this.
wasn't nervous.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what? Wait, this is nothing. I've had that pressure my whole life. That's
No, I
really
was still nervous.
interesting.
I'm always nervous.
Now, in terms of we can tell that, and you've told us that you're really close to your family. What is the one lesson that you've learned from your parents that you keep with you?
The biggest lesson is that when you love people, you show up. And I think that is something that, like, we can get through anything. Like, it doesn't matter if we've all been in a fight or we don't agree on something. When someone is ill, we are all there. When someone has a celebration, an anniversary for work, we all show up. And I think that, we're not always the best at communicating. I would say we're pretty good, but not, pretty good for Asian standards, I guess. And I will celebrate that. But I think the biggest thing, like when I got sick, when I had cancer, I was on the other side of the world. My sisters took their leave, like whatever month they had or whatever leave they had stocked up, to come and visit me and make sure that they were there for at least part of my journey. They planned it out so that it would be one sister and then the other, and there was a small overlap so we could all be together. And the same goes for like when my sister had her first kid. I flew back as much as I could, and we just show up for each other. And I think that is how I see and recognize love more than anything else. Oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. But yeah,
No,
I
no, no.
appreciate that so much about my
I
family.
I love it. I love it how you have so succinctly just put it. Just when you love someone, show up, and especially I may be generalizing, but coming from an Asian culture, Asian background, you kind of don't say a lot or are too physical about it, but then you just dare. You dare for the milestones and for when you shared that you had cancer. I mean, it was a big thing for you when you were 25, alone in the US, and to have
Yes.
cancer. I mean, I'm I don't really want to take you through that, but I think there's so many lessons we can learn from it. I mean,
That's okay. I'm very open to talk about it. My mom, she's such a fighter. She's such a warrior, and she had it. I don't want. Sorry to interject, but like she
no,
had it
no,
a
no.
couple, maybe a decade before me, and she like rocked her wigs, and not only that, but like she once she finished her chemo and came out of it, she has been an advocate. She's always mentoring someone that's going through it.
Wow,
We work
wow.
very closely with the Singapore Cancer Society. We would, you stand outside with the tins, you get the sticker and then you put the coins
Yeah.
inside. So I was doing that on the weekends with her when I was in, secondary school and stuff. And she's always been like a shining light to be like, this is nothing to be ashamed of. And if anything, it's a huge accomplishment that we champion the fact that I represent what coming out of it looks like. You can have a life, you can look healthy, you can do anything. Like that's not a death sentence. And you can be afraid, but don't think that there's no future in it. So I'm always happy to talk about it.
Wow, that's amazing. What an amazing role model.
Mm.
And she went through that, and then unfortunately you had it as well. At that time, when you found out, you were so young. I mean, how did you feel? I can't imagine. But if it was me, I'll just go. I'm a victim. And I think it's just I don't even know how did you take it when you found out you were diagnosed with cancer at such a young age?
Um, I mean, we've spoken a little bit. I think you know me a little bit more by now. Like when they told me, I was just like, all right, what's the next step? Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Do I need surgery? Do I need chemo? Okay, where do I book it? Like I mean, in case I didn't want to put my parents through because I can't imagine, like, I don't have any kids. I'm not even close to having kids. I can't imagine what it would have been like for my parents to have had to receive that news. And so I think I didn't want them to have to do too much. So for me, it was more just like, all right, what's the next step? Okay, this might be hard, okay, I guess if I die, then, I want to make the most of the time I have left. But like, give me the facts, give me the deets, doc. Like, I was very, I was in school. I was like, oh, so do I need to call all my teachers? I've got finals next week. Like, what do I
Why
should
are
write
you
all of
you're
it.
so responsible and methodical in terms of just facing something that is life
Yeah.
changing at that time, could be devastating, and you're just methodical, going, right, how do I get better, who do I need to know, and oh my god,
I
you're so
mean,
strong.
thank you. I mean, I have my family to thank, but I mean, I am strong. But like, I think the thing that broke me was when the nurse, when she was telling me, she's like, you should sit down for this, and she told me, and I was like, okay, yeah. So what's the next step and all that, and then the thing that broke me was when she asked, "Do you have any family nearby?" And because I didn't, like everyone was so far away. So that kind of broke me a little bit. But then I remembered that my dad was in America playing golf somewhere. So I was like, my dad
But
is nearby. I don't really want to call him. He was actually the last
what,
person I called
you you
because
you, you felt like you didn't want to call him, you just been diagnosed with cancer, why would you
I
not?
well, no, so it was they didn't know if it was cancer.
Oh,
So the
okay,
thing is
so
they
it's
can't yeah, they
yeah,
can't tell, and the chances of it being cancer were so low. It was 2%. The chances of it being cancer was 2%. And so in my mind, I don't believe in 2% anymore because I was in the 2%
percent,
for the
yeah.
cancer. But yeah, so they said it might not be, but I mean, to be responsible, they were like, there's a chance that it could be. So yeah, so I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want to ruin his golf, whatever. So, but I called my mom and my sister just to, preempt them and warn them. I was like, it's not that yet, but it could be. And I'm just letting you know, please don't freak out because and my mom actually, so it went my sisters and then my mom and then my dad because my mom was on holiday with my big sister, with my grandparents. So I don't want her to ruin her holiday. So I called my little sister first, which we're very close. And she just had a massive breakdown. So what do you mean? And I'm like, don't panic yet. I don't know. Like and then I call my big sister because she's in medicine and she did like research for cancer and all that kind of stuff. And so I called her next, and obviously she was with my mom. So then she told my mom. My mom was like, "You have to tell your dad. Your dad has to be there, like right now." And it was this whole thing that I didn't want to do to them. So it took me a minute, but yeah, eventually everyone came out, and I was very blessed with their presence and got through it.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I mean, just it sounds like you have an amazing family, and what I really take from spending time with you, and the more I talk to you, and more the more you share stories like this, is you're so strong and resilient. But, geez, Daphne, you think about others all the time. In one
Well, it's
of
my
the
family.
Yeah,
Of
but
course,
what
I think about them.
something that's devastating at the time, even though you weren't sure, you're still thinking about, oh, I don't want to disturb my dad on his golf, my mom is a holiday. It's just, oh,
But
Daphne.
I didn't know. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. So, but
Lovely.
yeah, eventually everyone was there, and I was very blessed to have everyone there. So, you know, yeah,
I mean, you sound like you have an amazing family, and
I
you're just a lovely person, and I'm sure your
do.
parents are so proud of you, and your sisters too. I mean,
They
it's
are. Yeah.
just, yeah, it's amazing, and we're so happy that it's all clear. You're good. We know you're good. You're
Yeah.
thriving now.
12
That's
years
fantastic.
remission. Yeah.
Fantastic. You having a chat with us, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh my.
Thank you so much for sharing. So now, we just want you to pick up your phone if your phone's nearby, and if
Always,
you could
unfortunately.
leave, yeah, if you could leave a message,
Oh, this is
uh,
really gonna make me
yeah,
cry.
a meaningful message, to someone, that means a lot to you, or you haven't seen for a while, or sometimes you want to scroll through your phone book, and it's somebody that's you haven't been in touch with, or you want to. So, in your own time, as you know, in this show, we like to pry and like to listen in. So whenever you're ready.
um, so I will probably leave a message for my mom because she's the most important person in my life. She's my role model. She's my best friend. And if I don't talk to her for like a couple hours, that's already like so long that I haven't spoken
No
to her.
way. A couple
Yeah.
of hours.
I text her. We text every morning. Good morning. Like, because I don't live with her right now. And so
Okay.
I mean, she lives in Singapore, so not that far away, like 20-minute drive. But um, yeah, I'm gonna close this glass because the construction
Sure.
outside is noisy.
No, no problem, no problem at all. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who've tuned into Dear Future Grandkids, you know this is live because on live shows, that's what happens. You adapt. You adapt. Daphne's
Okay.
a radio DJ. She does it live. She knows.
Yes, I unfortunately know this, but it also makes you very human, because it's all hopefully you make other people feel human because I can put on I can put on my presenter voice, but that doesn't mean I won't mess up still. So it's
Exactly.
you can shine it up, but we're all human, it happens. Okay, I'm gonna try my best not to have a complete breakdown because I always get emotional and talking to my mom and stuff,
No,
but
just
um
be. Just
just
be.
a short note to
Yeah.
my mom. Oh my god, already crying. Okay. Hey mom, I don't know when I'm gonna send this or in what occasion, but I just want you to know that I love you so much and I'm so grateful that um, I've had my best friend with me my entire life. Um, that you are just such a constant source of joy, that your encouraging spirit and your faith and hope and love for me has just infected me to believe in myself in a life and in an industry that can be really, really difficult. Um, I really don't know what I'm gonna do without you, so you have to somehow outlive me, I think. Um, but yeah, I know that it's hard doing life. It's hard doing life without dad. But you're doing such an amazing job, learning to travel on your own in your 70s and looking like you're in your 50s and acting like you're in your 30s is something that I will try to learn from you as best I can. Um, but I just hope that you know that even though it seems opposite, that Grace, Astrid, and I are so proud of you and proud to call you our mom and someone that we know we can rely on, that we will look for that accountability in everyone that we come across because of you. And our lives are so much better because of that. And so, thank you. I love you. I'll call you soon. Bye. Oh no. Let me get some tissue.
That
Yeah.
that was that was no. Firstly,
Thank you.
thank you for allowing us into that space. A glimpse of your relationship with your mom. That was just beautiful. And I don't want to overstep my mark,
No, not at all.
but you have to send it to her at some point.
I will. I will. I'm
Yeah,
sure I
yeah. I
will.
mean, that's just it's beautiful. It's heartfelt. It's real. And what I've learned, just in life in general, but you're always learning. Is just and also from spending time with you is just live and be. Don't take anything for granted. So you feel that way about someone special. You've made the message. Just let them know, right? Thank you.
Or just call them.
Yeah.
Call them and tell them. Okay, if they're not free, then leave them a voice message. Wow,
Yeah.
nobody leaves voicemails anymore, huh?
I know. I know some people that still leave like voice messages on WhatsApp or whatsoever, but you never have that trying to call someone and then you leave someone a voice message because you can't reach them, right? Nobody does that anymore. That doesn't even exist anymore. I'm pretty sure.
It
Remember?
does actually. It does. So my
It
best friend
does.
in LA, he's because of the time difference, and then I've been gone for so many years, but I think we just whenever we get a moment, we try to just call each other. But for some reason, when he doesn't answer, it goes to voicemail. Maybe it's
Oh,
a US thing, but I've
maybe,
left
maybe.
him a bunch of voicemails. It's the only person I leave voicemails for.
Well, not anymore. Now you leave it for your mom.
That's true. Oh, I should do that every month. That's so wonderful. That felt really good.
No, yeah, it felt good. I mean, it's
Yeah, it felt
cathartic
really good.
and
Sometimes
yeah.
there's also like less pressure to say certain things when you're leaving a voice message rather than like being on the phone or leaving like a WhatsApp voice message, Yeah. Make messages and send them later. I love that. That's so cool.
Nice. Yeah, that should be a thing. Leave voice
It's
messages and send it. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
thing.
kind of like sending postcards, like you get them much later, but the sentiment is still there.
Exactly, exactly. And then you are, sharing your feelings that you felt at that time, but just sending it later.
Yeah.
Ah. And talking about time and later, you made that move from Singapore to the US to attend college in Berkeley. It was a big decision and adjustment for you. Can you tell us what made you take that step?
So a lot of people might not know this, but I wanted to go to Berkeley since I was like 16 years old. And my dad is such that, yeah, yes, my dream school. And my dad was like the kind of person that like if you wanted to do anything in life, like if you read a book or whatever, I needed to write him a report. So I made him a whole like pitch to go to school, to go to Berkeley. But it was rejected. It was very much rejected. And I get it. It was too expensive and all of that stuff. So I ended up doing Polytechnic in Singapore and then going to uni in Australia because I'm Australian. So it's very affordable. But then I saved up for a Euro trip, like a year-long, gap year trip, backpacking through Europe. I saved all that money and I went to summer school at Berkeley because I was like, I have to at least go. And like, if I'm going to
Oh,
meet anyone that's going to be in the music industry, like huge in the music industry, they're going to be at Berkeley, So that was like my kind of trying to hack the system to getting into the industry in the US or in the music industry. Because at that point in time, Singapore didn't really have much of it. It's flourishing now and it's growing and it's beautiful. But back then, like 20 years ago, was nothing.
yeah.
Not nothing, but small. And so I did the summer school, and then all of my teachers were like, you should be here. Like, you should be here. And so they all wrote in so I could get a scholarship to go. And so I just was like, I just told my parents, like, I'm going. And my dad was like, save your money. Like, I'll pay for whatever you need, So in the end, I got to go and I got to meet a bunch of amazing people. Of course, the most well-known is Charlie Puth, who I'm very proud of. And I mean, they
And
don't
and
know
to and, and, and
anymore.
to you and to you, it's just Charlie.
Well, no, he's Charlie Puth to me now. I think that level of fame, I think you do end up, having to leave some friends behind, but I don't take it personally. I think it's just, you can only have the capacity for so much, and we were close in school, and, I treasure that and I appreciate the time that we did have together. But, I left, I wrote that Sea Games song. I went back to Singapore. I moved back to Singapore for 2 years before I moved to LA. And so I think in that time is when he got signed. He worked with Meghan Trainor and did the Fast and Furious song and blew up. So we kind of ended up losing touch a little bit from there. But, I can still say I went to school with Charlie.
You did. I mean, and it's such an amazing story that you shared just now because, like you said, you've always wanted to go to Berkeley when you're 16, and people always talk about just manifest, manifest, manifest. Think about it. But you not only did that, you had to write a report to your dad or pitch, and then with the money that you save up for a gap year, you went to summer school. I mean, Daphne, that is someone going for her goals and just the sense of maturity at such a young age. Now, where does all this come from?
My parents, I guess. Like, my sisters are the same. Like, any job they do and they leave, they got to hire like 3 people to replace them. We're just it's just the way I don't know, it was just watching my parents, I guess. Like, they must have done something because, yeah, I mean, it's always one of those things that they've taught us. You want to fill up the Dollar Tree, get the
Yeah.
dollars and fill up
Yeah.
the tree. Like, you want to go outside and climb the tree, go outside and climb the tree. Like, whatever you want to do, you just have to take the steps to do it. If you don't take the steps, you don't do it. So the more you put it off, the less you're gonna have the thing and the harder it's gonna be, because unless manifesting, that's something that I think my parents, I think that's what my parents taught us subliminally, probably, but like, you want to do the thing, the only reason to pause is to envision it in the best way possible so that the steps you take are efficient.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that stuff. Life lesson there. Fill
So
up the Dollar
practical.
Tree. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Just do that. Um, as the show is called Dear Future Grandkids, and then we had this conversation from before as well. Um, you looking at the future, and obviously it's probably awful for the guy, even asking you this question, but we did talk about this before. Um,
Yeah.
would you like kids of your own someday, or is that something that is in the horizon you're aiming for?
Well, I've always I've always wanted kids. I love kids. But in as good as it is that I'm so focused and love like doing and getting stuff done and grabbing things for myself, I'm learning in my 30s, in my late 30s, love is not something you can do that. I always thought I could wait and then do that when I was ready, because I was so focused on my career. And then I think in my 30s, learning to date, especially in the modern age, has been a learning journey, that I'm still on. I mean, we're always learning, but I think this
Yeah.
is something that I can't, in my life, the things that I've tried to do have eventually worked out in one way or another, because I've gotten to accomplish my goals. I just didn't count on love not being that way. And I think I would, like, if I did have children, I would want them to have a loving father, and I would want to have a loving, caring, kind, compassionate partner and husband. And without that, in Singapore, you actually can't be a single mom unless you accidentally get knocked up. So it's not something that I can even entertain, actually. Um, so unfortunately, within my situation, I think in the last couple of years, or at least last year, more realistically, I've learned that that might be a dream that I have to be okay with letting go of. But actually, since the time that we started talking about it, um, I learned from a friend that it's actually quite normal and natural and potentially even healthier to have children in your 40s. So with that piece of knowledge, I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful, but I've also have accepted last year, that was quite a difficult thing for me to accept, that maybe I don't have children, but I also think that that's something I need to give myself grace for, and that's okay, like everything that we've wanted in life. Like, I wanted to be as famous as Charlie Puth.
Mm-mm.
And seeing his fame, I was like, that might not be for me, given the fact that I had fame when I was 18 in Singapore and I
Yeah.
couldn't handle it. I left the country. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that's not what I should be after. Maybe I should be after learning how to be happy and using whatever influence I have to help other people be kind and happy with themselves as well. So that's long long story long. Yeah, I want children, but I'm also okay if I don't get them. I
Yeah. I
will
mean,
I will have dogs.
no, thank you so much for sharing, because it's any way you look at it, it's difficult, isn't it? People just need to realize that you know it's not something that if you want it, you're going to have it. There's so many parts to it. Even if you're happily married or in a couple, it doesn't mean you want kids. You can have it. Some people find it really difficult, and there's so many things going on, in the world, in your life as well, and everyone's going through so much in this environment. um how would you say, how can we feel all right? What do you think? What can we do to feel all right? What do you do?
I think grounding yourself is a really, so I was doing a podcast for mental wellness for youths, and this a grounding exercise that I learned that I think is very helpful is the 5 4 3 2 1 grounding exercise. So you look for 5 things you can see, 4 things, I might be getting them messed up, but it's like all your senses. So 5 things
Yep.
you can see, four
Yep.
things you can hear, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can touch, and 1 thing that you can taste. But they usually say by 3 or 2, you're like you're back on the ground. And the
Nice.
reason that I say this is, just bear with me, it might be a bit long-winded, but um, grounding yourself is the best thing to do to remind yourself that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not late, you're not early, you're exactly on time. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned was I did not want to come back to Singapore from the US. I was so happy there. I was like, I had learned such huge lessons. I felt like myself. I was thriving, so to speak, as the kids say. I was slaying and thriving. But I was so resistant to come back, and I actually was so mad at the world. Like I'm usually such a happy person, and I am optimistic and positive. But I was so mad to come back and have to live with my parents, because I lived alone for 10 years at that point. And I found out 6 months later that my dad was dying, and none of my sisters could
Oh,
take off from work. It was during COVID. Like, he couldn't go to the hospital. And I was here. I would not trade that for anything. And so it's a great reminder that I might not be comfortable and I might not even be happy with where I am. But if you ground yourself and just say, wait, the thing is happening. Like, you're on the journey. And people always say, like, is it the journey or the destination? It's the journey. And oh my God, I'm sorry. You started the floodgates opening. But spending that time with my dad, and as difficult as it was to see him, slowly go and leave, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Because if I had been stuck in the US, I might not even have been able to come home. I might not have been able to have the conversations with him that I never got to have because I was gone for 10 years. And it was such an important time that I was like, this is hard, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And any different move or any resistance to where I was going, like listening to the universe and grumbling and mumbling about it, still allowed me to be at that point. And so if you ever feel like you're stuck or you're not doing the thing, you're doing the thing. Like, you
doing it.
focus and then leave that there and trust that the universe will give you what is meant for you, and then enjoy it. Yeah.
It's it really is amazing with the story you just shared, because your dad and being a father, right? Your responsibility is your children. You want to do your best to ensure they hopefully become really good human beings, and also you look after them and nurture them and make sure that you can provide them the best that they can, right? So they take on that responsibility. Um, you not knowing how the universe was going to work, you were able to be that person for him. It was your turn to look after him. It was your turn to be there for him. And at the time, you didn't know it, but it was meant to be. You were he was going to be your responsibility. You were going to give back what he gave to you. And I think that's, I mean, it's
Oh,
heartbreaking
you're
when
gonna make me cry for
no, no,
more.
it's really heartbreaking when you had to go to. I can't. I lost my parents, so I can imagine that. But for for things to work that way, and for you to be there, and for you to be so honest about it, and it was obviously a tough decision career wise, than to move from the US to Singapore, but you were there for your dad, and
It's also good grounding to remember what your priorities are in life, because you could reach for the stars and land there, but then if the people you love are on the ground, you want to be on the ground anyway, you know.
oh, Daphne, thank you for sharing. Um, you know, we've been listening to a lot of your songs as well, and we know that as an artist, it's an extension of your personality and also your experiences of what you write from, in terms of coming from the heart as well. The song, I mean, it's all feel all right, um, and you spoke to us prior as well. It's exactly how you describe a lot of things where you're just meant to be where you are and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
When did this song come about? Was it during this? this sort of tough time you were going through with your
No,
dad?
no.
No,
So it
no.
was way before. It was what so I mean, life is hard, life can be challenging. And moving to LA, trying to like make a career for myself, starting from zero, because I had already been Daphne Khoo for like
Your whole
probably
life.
10, 15 years. And then moving to LA, I was like, I want a fresh start. But everyone was like, you're crazy. Like everyone already knows you as Daphne Khoo. Why would you rebrand? And I'm like, because I have music that I made when I was 15 years old on the internet, and I don't
Not that
necessarily
long.
want LA people to hear. Like, I don't want the execs to hear that. I don't want them to go through the archives and be like, "Oh my," you know. And the numbers were not; they were very mediocre because I started with CDs, back in the day. There was no streaming sites. There was no Apple Music, no Spotify, none of that stuff. You could go to the good old CD shop and you buy the CDs. I printed the CDs out. So when I rebranded, I was finding it very difficult. And this song actually, surprisingly, I was working with this particular producer and friend, Zach, and we were like, I was like, can we just write something for fun? Like, can we just not be writing to pitch and make millions of dollars right now? Can we just like write something off of my chest to get stuff off my chest? And he's a guitarist. So he was like, all right, he pulls out his guitar because usually he's producing in the box, especially if we make pop music. So he just started playing some chords. And, I was like, I'll admit it's been a minute. I don't mind. I guess I need to take the time to take a breath. Feel the breeze, just what I mean. And then we were like, okay, all
Wait,
right.
wait,
So
wait, wait, wait. It just came out. You just sang over his chords.
yeah, I have the demo. It just came out like that. Yeah. So sometimes you got it. Sometimes the song is already there and you're just reading it from the air. But yeah, so it started out, and then we kind of had a pretty lousy second verse. So we were like, it's fine because this is our throwaway song. This is my selfish song. No one's ever going to hear it. And then when we finished it, I actually played it for some people at the studio I was working at, and they were like, yo, this song has a vibe. This is the next single. You should put this out next. And I was like, really? This is literally just about me struggling in LA and just kind of deluluing myself into saying I'm going to be okay, And they were like, but I think a lot of people need to hear that. And so we put it out, and it's been my most viral song that I've put out on my own to date. So I'm very grateful that for Zach and for the person that was like, you should release this. Yeah, so
It's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. You telling us a story and he's playing the chords and you just go, the words, the lyrics just pop in your head. You were feeling that and just went, that was it. The first verse.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, we worked on the second verse. That one we worked on. We did
Yeah.
a few rounds of
But you
revisions for
started
that.
with that,
But it started. The song started real breezy and easy, and that's how you've got like a good personal song at least. And then whether people resonate with it or not is another thing. Yeah.
No, that is, I can't believe it. My mind is blown. This is, I know there's a process of songwriting and sometimes it just comes to you, but this
Yeah.
literally came to you.
I mean, I think I might have like written it down and then just sang it, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty much like that. Yeah, I'm very blessed with good collaborators too. Great chord progression.
I can't believe it. Amazing. Daphne,
Yes.
thank you so much. It's been amazing having this chat with you. I just feel like we could go on and on and on. And I forget.
This is a healing interview. I gotta say.
I forget that people are even watching. It's just I feel like it's really great to know you and your stories and your family and what you've been through and your resilience. As part of the show, before we say goodbye, and thank you so much for creating this video time capsule for your future grandkids.
We have to thank Olinda Cho too for
Olinda, old friend, lovely friend
out.
Olinda, who was on the show as well, and she's like, you got to get Daphne on the show. So Olinda, thank you. Will you get to leave now a message for your future grandkids? What would you like to say to them?
So you did tell me that I have to do this. Obviously, it's the title of the show. But in my very own, very Haneri / Daphne Khoo style, I
Haneri
wrote a
style.
song instead of uh,
Yes.
instead of writing it just to read it. I have a little ditty for my future grandchildren. I'm sure there'll be many, but this is just for this show and for them too. Ready?
Ready as we ever will be.
Let me get the Dear future grandkids, I'm not sure where I'll be when you get this. Hope that you know how much I love you before I met you. Oh, I'm so proud of everything you've done and all that you'll do. Give me a call if we haven't talked like we used to. 'Cause I wanna tell you, I know that life can be hard, but honey, you're harder. The things you don't think you can do will surprise you. Hope you're sleeping well and drinking lots of water. Dear future grandkids, look at the sky, kiddo, make some time, 'cause there's art in nature around you. Travel with friends, stay out late or go to bed. Cry as hard as you want to, dear future grandkids. There is so much that I wish I could tell you right now. Just know you are loved, never question if you are alone. Look around. Play this again and again if you have to. You are so loved and you are found. Dear future grandkids.
Oh, I'm that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love with the song.
Thank you.
You had me where at the first few lines of it was, I haven't met you yet, but I already love you, because that's exactly how I feel. Because if I ever have grandkids, or if I get to see them or not, that's exactly how I feel. That's just such a beautiful song, and oh, Daphne, that's amazing. You have to release that. You have to release that. You have to.
Oh, you
More
guys can have it. I think it's like messages enough to like be, for all the
Oh,
grandchildren.
we would love to have this, because it's so it's just so meaningful. I mean, just
Oh, thank you.
thank you,
Thank
thank you
you.
so
My
much.
pleasure. This has been such a blessing. Thank you so much for
No, I
having
mean,
me.
I know you're so busy, and time is so precious as well. So, but genuinely, from the hand on heart, all of us here at Dear Future Grandkids, thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you to the viewers for watching as well. I hope you love Daphne as much as we do. Thank you to Kawai Dona for watching our shows again. You've been fantastic. We love you, Dear Future Grandkids viewers and listeners. Always remember, you can't change the past, but you can create your future. Exactly what Daphne, aka Haneri, has done. Daphne, do you want to, before we go, do you want to tell anyone else what's your next gig and next singles? What people can look out for?
I think right now it's just more developing the radio show, because I have a new time belt. So if you're in Singapore, or even if you're not, tune in. If you want to hear me talk some more, I'm on every day. If it's not obvious, I talk a lot every day from 4 to 8 p.m. in Singapore on weekdays. But I do have a new era of Haneri coming out, so that's really exciting. I just don't really have the timeline yet. I just try to focus on one thing at a time. Yeah, but this has been so wonderful, and thank you for everyone for being here, and Jen and the team for having me and for putting this all together. It's been very thoughtful and very rewarding. So thank you.
No, hand on heart, this is one of the best Saturday mornings I've ever had in a long time. So Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye. So thank you for watching Dear Future Grandkids. That's Daphne Khoo, Haneri, Snowballs over there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you the next time. Take care and bye-bye.